So I do believe we are ready for yet another run. This time the Nanoman run from Jelly Dots. Are we ready for the Nanoman?
Oh, okay, so today I'm gonna be playing Nanoman, a small indie game on the Pico 8, which is a very popular system among indie developers to make very small games. Um, yeah, I think it's you may recognize the title screen from another title that you have played in the past, but perhaps it may be more recognizable once I start playing. So I think it's best if we just have a countdown.
May I first quickly want to ask, because there was a donation incentive for this run.
Yes.
When is that gonna close?
Ooh. After the first stage, and that's gonna be very short. Like, well, a minute or two in.
Okay, so in a minute, well, at the very latest, so in about 30 seconds, we're
No,
gonna.
I don't.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say a minute or two.
Okay, we're gonna give you guys a minute or two, and then we're gonna close this run. But good luck to Jelly Dots.
Okay, so I think it's best if we just have a countdown then. So, 3. Okay, so Nanoman, yeah, as you can see, there's gonna be like a certain game, you're gonna be able to pick which stage you start. And since this any percent, the stage order actually matters because each boss has a different weakness. Oh, and you get those powers from each boss. So we're gonna move. Our first stage is gonna be ouch. Oh, that's yeah. First stage is gonna be against B-Man. This, by the way, the hardest stage in the game. Now you can actually move back to easier stages like these. And and as you can see, it's mostly an action platformer based very heavily on a title that you may recognize as Mega Man. Yeah, it's pretty obscure. I could see how this developer wanted to revitalize it. So there's not really a set story, but you can assume it's basically you're Nanoman and you're facing these robot and bosses. So this is B-Man. He just runs around and launches these beams that actually hurt quite a bit. That was the first stage, and that's where the incentive actually ends.
So I will quickly refresh the donation to check any last minute, and I do have a last minute thing. Let me quickly see.
I'm just starting the stage meanwhile, so go ahead.
Because it's a big donation.
Oh boy.
Quickly check. It is an anonymous donation of 150 euros saying
Oh,
do it.
Oh boy.
So thank you, Anonymous, and I think we get some buster action.
Yeah, so I was gonna show the effects, but I guess we aren't. So we're moving. This is the second stage in any percent. It's always gonna be the second stage there, which is gonna be against Dashman. And usually you'd use that laser beam against him. Now we're gonna have to do this little fight against him where he will have this weird pattern where he will alternate between. Oh, got lucky there. Between that different dashes that he's making there. It's gonna be a bit interesting now because oh, let's see if we can go to the main menu real quick because I entered the wrong stage. We're gonna move on to the next stage, which is Seekman. His name is the most ambiguous. Ouch. Actually gonna take a hit there. Makes the rest easier. His name is ambiguous, but you'll see what his name's referring to once we have his fight against him. So Buster only versus any percent. It's for this section, it's not gonna matter yet, but the section coming up is where it really starts making the game more challenging. I'm actually gonna wait here because, oh, don't want to take a hit. You would be able to just dash over this whole section, which makes it a bit easier. Now we have to wait for this pillar. Oh, wait again. You don't want to get hit. And let's see. Fast enough? Yes. And this is another part that would be quite a bit easier if you're just using the dash. Since you can just dash through everything, most things in the game then. Also, since I have so little HP, I'm actually gonna have to dodge his attacks, which usually I just tank. Like, this is one of those bosses that if you have enough HP, if you don't walk into him and you have enough HP, it's a very easy fight. So let's see if we can do, if you can respawn that one, good. Let's see if we can just get to him with less damage this time. There's no checkpoints in this game, except for beating the stages, that's what's saved. But yeah, so the goal is to just not die too frequently. Lucky for the iframes, I was able to jump through that duck. I think these are ducks anyways. Yes, nice timing. See how we're doing on health. Yeah, that's good. And since this is pretty much the same fight, if the host has anything to say, you're allowed to.
Let me see what there is to say. Now with that donation goal, Matt, there is not really any soon-to-be donation goals arriving. However, of course, don't let that dissuade you from donating. It goes to the Dutch Cancer Society, at least 95% of it. The rest goes to improving BSG itself, which, you know, both of those are pretty cool. I like supporting charity. I hope you do too.
Yeah, supporting charity is a pretty good thing. I think most of us can agree on that. We're moving on to the Hammerman stage. And this stage is the one where, in any percent, it's very different from Buster Only. Mostly because you can use the dash to get through these platforms. So you can actually just mostly zip through this this first section of the entire stage. I hear someone laughing behind me, that's great. It's a very contagious laughter, so don't mind if I laugh as well. So we're moving on. This is the most dangerous section of the stage, because all those spikes you're seeing there at the bottom are actually insta-kill spikes. So yeah, dropping into them is not really a great idea. We could kill this one, but we're actually gonna take a boost off of it. And we're gonna actually take another boost, just in case, because those spikes are actually terrifying. But that does mean that we're either gonna have to be very... Yeah, okay, now it's a safe fight. If we didn't get that and just fell, this would have been a very risky fight because we would have had to dodge this attack with absolute certainty. So, in any percent, you would just use the missiles on him that you saw on the previous stage. In Buster Only, you obviously just chase him after, since he won't hit you with his hammer if you stay behind him. Yeah, got a hammer time, right? So we're moving on to Armor Man. It's a pretty nice groove. These enemies take like 5 hits to kill, so in a speedrun you don't wait for them. And same for these take 8 hits. Like you can see on this one. A large part of this run just consists of knowing when you can actually jump, because otherwise it's just gonna be a really big mess. section is pretty straightforward. And this one's in casual surprisingly gave me quite a bit of trouble, but if you jump right there, it's actually very easy. And same for that damage boost. And this used to be the most terrifying boss in the entire game. In Buster only, at least. That is until I found out that you can just stand here and not take any hits. So yeah, now this boss is actually free. The easiest boss now. Because he actually does the most damage of all the bosses if he touches you. Oh, one more hit. There we go. We're immediately gonna go to the main menu because now we can move on to the final set of stages. Called Dr. P. Stands for Dr. Pico, but it just shows us Dr. P on most signs. And you may be wondering whether this is gonna be something like the original game it's based on. And the answer is gonna be yes. There's a boss rush. So we're gonna have to face all the bosses we did just like before. And like before, we're gonna do them without any special powers. Luckily, after each boss, you can find this one health pickup, which is gonna make things considerably easier. So most of the obstacles have already been presented in the game. And there's just more of a gauntlet. You just see if you've learned everything. It would have been funny because this guy actually, his weakness is Hammerman's hammer. So you literally hammer him in. You can sort of moonwalk if you hold both left and right at the same time. And let's see. These ducks are probably the most annoying enemies in the entire game. Just by their behavior. Sort of like the Medusa heads. We're gonna face Dash Man again. Again with the alternating pattern. Now he's gonna jump again. That's gonna dash twice. That's mostly it. If you memorize that, it becomes a much easier fight, but until then, you're gonna probably die a few times if you try this game out. The game's for free. It's a Pico 8 game. Most of the Pico 8 games are free. Especially if you have the Pico 8 client, which I'm playing on. Otherwise, you'd have to try them in your browser. Which is one of the great things about Pico 8. A lot of freedom in how you play them. Moving on to Missile Man. Since we're so much low health, we're gonna try dodging a few of his hits. Oh, or not. Okay, then let's just finish there. I was hoping to avoid all this damage, but it's not too much of an issue.
Do we have time for a donation?
Yes.
We have 20 euros from Shabby Orange saying, "Love for the late night runners. Thanks, Jellydots. Donation goes to Runner's Choice."
Ooh, I'm gonna put it to the other Pico 8 game, which is Celeste. I believe they even have... Ooh, almost died there. They even have a Pico 8 incentive to play the Pico 8 version.
Oh, the Pico 8 version?
Yeah, it's in that game, so...
Oh, okay, I'll add it for you.
Yes.
Thanks for the donation.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You see some late night runners behind me, actually. We're the late night crew, I guess. Just can't fall asleep in the day. Ooh. And this is gonna be a bit rough. Because as you may see now, we actually have to do the entire gauntlet again if you die. That's a bit unfortunate, to say the least. I'm gonna see if I can do it again, but this time without taking that death. Get a bit of health back. Very helpful RNG. The pickups you get from the enemies are all RNG based. Only the ones that aren't are these that you're seeing right now. If host has anything to say, you're free to do so.
We are currently getting the Runner's Choice donation
Oh,
getting
yeah.
through. So if you have a second, we're gonna check that.
So, facing Armor Man again. He has the shiniest head of all the enemies. Just random trivia. Also, this screen, this background is actually also the title screen's background. Nice. Yeah, this time this gauntlet is going a lot better than before. Already, I'm already at max health this time. See if I don't take any hits here. That was a jinx. And since this heals for half health, that means you're still at full HP. You may have noticed that I don't kill this guy, and that's only because that one is very tough to activate. So it's actually much safer to just take this damage boost and not fall into the spikes. Like whatever damage you take here is much better than death. See if we can dodge it this time. Currently well. Ouch. That's me. Let's see if we don't get hit here, so we can keep all of our health. We don't. Okay, so that puts us back at full HP again. And thus are only this stages are mostly about health management, I guess. Like just killing without taking too much damage. Because you can only get these healths right here. But the more health you lose, the more the next boss fight, the tougher the next boss fight becomes. Oh, that's fine. And now time is coming up pretty soon. After this screen is the final boss of the game. And I won't spoil who it is or what. Now I'll just let you witness it yourselves. So, I will narrate it. Dr. P himself. Fool, you can't stop me. I created you. Time. So yeah. Yeah, that was... Oh, might as well reset. But yeah, that was Nanoman. I'd like to shout out some streamers, Cash, Dea, and Melanax, who both supported me with their chat communities. And I'd like to shout out everyone at BSG, including the people behind me, because they have all just been great. Gotta turn up. You can find me Discord on Twitch at the Annual venue, exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty much on a bunch of social media at this point, like speedrun.com. Even on speedrun.com, I actually have the URLs on my profile, so that would make it easier. So yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I think that was it. So yeah, thank you for having me. That was my final run at the event, so thanks a lot.
So thank you, Jelly, for that amazing run and all your runs at this BSG Annual. Coming up next, we have Dark Souls 2 All Bosses, no DLC, by Mr. I Can Count himself. So get hyped for that.